Bob, can we talk about this? I mean, I like your headdress. I definitely like your t-shirt. Oh. It was a long day. Good to be. What is this guy doing here? That's the same guy that harassed us in the parking lot at Walmart.
He's got a gun!
What you're saying? Look, we can be friends. I mean, we can talk about this. Hey everybody, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you like that introduction, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'd really appreciate it. Look, this is just going to be an introduction to what I believe is probably the most valuable training tool that I have for concealed carry. And I know that's a big claim, and you would say, well, that's probably my firearm. And that's kind of true, it is. There is no substitute for actual live fire range practice. If you can do everything you need to do at the range, you have to do that. Most of us don't have that available to us. We don't have an outdoor range. We don't have unlimited wealth to buy ammunition with and unlimited resources to practice from vehicles, practice indoors in shoot houses, and realistic settings and scenarios like that. Most of us can make it to the range maybe a couple times a month if we're lucky, to an actual live fire range. But what I want to show you in this video is a training tool. And most people call it an airsoft gun. I call it a training gun. It is an airsoft gun, but not to be confused with a toy. It's definitely a big kid's toy, but it's not necessarily just a little kid's toy anymore. It's come a long way. And this particular gun I want to show you is the Glock 19X replica by a company called Umarex. And this is their licensed Glock 19X in their Elite Force series, they call it. And they have 19s and 17s, and then they have a bunch of other makes and models as well, but Umarex makes this, and there'll be links in the description for everything in this video, from the gun to the magazines. I'm going to show you the ammo. I'm not going to get in depth on everything, but if you have questions, you can always put them in the comments, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. Or if you want to see another video in depth, I'll probably do one of those in the future on how to set up to do this sort of training. But at any rate, this gun is a very realistic gun. I started out using airsoft for training a couple years ago, and I bought one like this. This is a Crown Airsoft. I'm not going to be shy about any names. It just is what it is. This is Crown Airsoft. I got it for $100 shipped from China, from Crown Airsoft's website. But what I found immediately, which I want to show you, this is the real 19X, by the way, and we'll get into a comparison. Just so you know, safe, clear, no rounds in the magazine. Very important when you're talking about dry fire and actually practicing dry fire, to make sure everything's in a safe condition. And this 19X, the real deal, is in a safe condition. And this Crown Airsoft, what happened is I got it home and I was like, man, this thing feels good. It's a Gen 4 G19 replica. And I went to go put it in the holster, and it didn't quite fit like my regular one. Now this one, you see, it does fit a little better than when I first got it, because I actually grind it down to make it fit into the holster. And I didn't like that. I wanted a training gun that would fit right into the holster that I use, so that it would be, you know, an exact one-to-one comparison. And now I have this Umarex, I don't know how you say it, but it's U-M-A-R-E-X. And again, there's a link in the description below. You can find it. But with the exception of the orange tip, if I took the orange tip off, which I'm not going to, but if I did take the orange tip off, you would be very hard pressed almost impossible from this distance without close inspection to tell the difference between these two guns. And they are, I mean, very, very close. Color, features, down to the sights. I mean, almost identical, and it makes it an awesome training gun. But here's the best thing about it, the specs. If you mic this gun out, that's the real one. Listen to that. Now listen to this. And that's the Airsoft Training Gun. So man, this thing is an exact replica. Down to the magazines, let me show you. Real magazine, Airsoft magazine. Look at these things. I mean, they almost, I didn't want to shove them all the way in, but they almost would go. I'm not going to shove it in because I don't know if I'll be able to get it out. I have no idea about the exact internal working of the Airsoft gun and if something's going to catch on there and grab it, but I could shove that thing all the way home in there. And likewise, the Airsoft gun mag into the real gun. Man, they so amazingly just about perfect, I would say. Grip texture, color, everything. The weight, again, this gun, the real 19X, is empty weight. It doesn't have any rounds in the mag or in the chamber, and you know, these rounds are negligible weight, but because the magazine is heavy, because it's a green gas filled or propane filled magazine, it has a weight to it very, very similar. And I'm going to probably do an in-depth view where you can see measurements and weights on both of these guns, but it's pretty amazing. Now if you loaded this one down, obviously ammo, it's going to be heavier, but it is an awesome, awesome replica. The other thing, down to the rail, you can put accessories on it. I've got a Streamlight TLR8. That's on the Airsoft. Look at that. I mean, any accessory you want to run, it's going to fit identical. And that makes it beautiful for Airsoft training. One more accessory. Look, this is the Surefire X300. I mean, look at this. It just, it goes right on the pistol. You got to tighten that one down with the dial, as you know, but it is identical to the real deal. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Any scenario you want to run, as you saw in the introduction, if you want to run indoor training, if you want to run vehicle training, outdoor training, target practice, you name it, you can do that with this Airsoft gun. And the cool thing about it is it's safe, relatively speaking. The only thing you need to do is wear eye protection. I prefer these gargoyles. I've got an indoor pair, or you know, when it's low light or not sunny outside, or if I'm indoors, I prefer clear lens gargoyle brand. These are awesome glasses, by the way. If you want to know more about those, just throw a comment in there. And I have the outdoor sunglasses as well. These are the Stance, and these are the Vortex clear lens. And so those are the only things you need. You don't need hearing protection. And so, relatively speaking, it's absolutely safe. If it hits you, you know, the Airsoft gun pellet hits you in the arm or wherever else it hits you, even in the face, it's no big deal. It stings a little bit if it's close up directly out of the muzzle, but so you can do force on force training, any realistic training you want to do, and so it does everything in the firing sequence with the exception of recoil management. It's got a little bit of recoil to it. In fact, I've got some gas in there, I think, and so you can see that. There's no BBs in the mag, but it's got a little bit of recoil to it. In fact, this one's a lot snappier than the Crown, so it's absolutely more realistic than the Crown Airsoft. But so you get true gas blowback with this. You're not going to, again, practice any realistic recoil management with it. But it's as realistic as it gets. And what do you need? I've got 15,000 rounds here that I got for, I think, less than 20 bucks. So you can get 5,000 rounds for 12 bucks compared to it would cost you hundreds of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of dollars for 9mm training rounds. And then you need a propane source and a fitting. Again, there's links for all these in the description below if you're interested, and then I'll do an in-depth video later on of how to set all this up. And then I use some DuPont silicone lubricant, just a little bit. You need a tiny bit of that. It mixes with the gas out of this special fitting to fill your magazines. And that's it. Literally, you're in business. And so you can train in your own house, you can train in your own vehicle, in your own office, in your own backyard. As you saw me, you can set up the different targets and everything like that. I use real AR-500 targets. They're 1/4 inch thick. I'll put a link for those in the description below, and so you get the audible feedback when you're shooting those targets. So not only do you get the realistic movements of the gun, but you get realistic sounds for your training targets, and you can do all sorts of things. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is it's safe, it's inexpensive, and it's as realistic as possible without actually going to the live fire range. So it's also terribly convenient and easy and a whole lot of fun to do. So Umarex Airsoft Replica, again, the link is in the description below. I highly recommend that for your training regimen. You can bet that as you go through this training, that it is going to absolutely increase your ability to shoot well and to defend yourself, because you can go through everything and do everything that you need to do that you would normally do for dry fire. You can do all of that every day, just a couple minutes a day, and become so much more efficient at your draw stroke, sight alignment, sight picture, reloads, even tactical and administrative reloads, safety, movement, lateral movements, getting off the X, target shooting. You can do all of that in really a matter of minutes every day from home. Drawing from concealment, using concealment and cover, as you saw in the yard in the introduction to the video. So much more realm of possibility. And then you can do force on force, defending yourself. Bob here, my big helper, he takes a beating every day and he comes back with a great attitude every single time. And you just can't beat that. But and he gets shot up all the time. Poor Bob. So at any rate, it is a great training option. It's probably the ultimate training tool that you could put into your basket of tools, and I highly recommend you do that. Again, there's links for everything in the description below. If you would like this video and subscribe to our channel, we really would appreciate it. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and God bless you and yours.